Welcome to Newsround, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. I'm Joke Rogers. The headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari flags oil of crude at the Kolmani field in the northeast of Nigeria, says investment has attracted about $3 billion. Also this week, the president unveiled redesigned 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes in Abuja. University of Lagos Alumni Association gets new 3-story edifice named after former Vice Chancellor Oyewusi Bidapobe. Last newborn baby killed in Russian strikes on maternity ward in Ukraine's southern region. That's Newsround in view. The Newsround begins with what many consider a new dawn in the country's oil sector with the kickoff of drilling of crude at the Kolmani field in the northeast. With the world obviously shifting away from fossil fuels, the president says this project has attracted over $3 billion in investment, while commending the NNPCL and her partners for this giant leap.
This discovery had emanated from our charge to NNPC to re-strategize and expand its oil and gas exploration footprints to the frontier basins of Anambra, Dahomey, Sokoto, Benue Trau, Chad, and Bida basins. Similar activities across the other basins are currently actively ongoing. It is therefore to the credit of this administration that at a time when there is near zero appetite for investment in fossil energy, coupled with the location challenges, we are able to attract investment of over $3 billion United States dollars to this project. This will surely be a reference subject for favorable discussion in the industry as we pursue the Just Energy Transition Program that will culminate in our country achieving net zero position 1 by their 2060. I have engaged the governors of Bauchi and Gombe states, and both have given me assurances of their unwavering commitment and willingness to ensure support and cooperation in these localities as this activity affects the local populations.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited and the Minister of State for Petroleum also spoke about the government's efforts towards ensuring energy sufficiency for the country.
This discovery has enabled the understanding of the frontier basins in the reef system from Nigeria, with potentials for further large-scale finds. Our teams are currently engaged in several exploratory activities and have commenced re-entry into the Chad Basin with the recent assurance of a clear security situation. Mr. President, we confirm that the development framework put in place guarantees financing and access to relevant technology required to deliver this integrated project. No doubt, the establishment of a refinery, fertilizer plant, power plant, and associated upstream oil and gas processing facilities will translate to greater energy security for our country, enable economic growth, provide thousands of jobs, and other opportunities that will invariably deliver revenues to the Federation.
One of the key mandates of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources is to grow reserves from the current 37 billion barrels of oil to 40 billion barrels of oil by 2025. The BIA 2021 provided the regulatory support and framework for achieving this mandate by providing for the Frontier Exploration Fund, which the NNPC can utilize to deploy world-class cutting-edge technologies to de-risk exploration in the frontier basins. The commencement of drilling of coal mining fields, which could hold as much as 1 billion barrels of crude oil, will significantly contribute in boosting our oil reserves and ensuring a continuous energy sufficiency.
Still in the oil sector, this time it's the impacts of the Petroleum Industry Bill 1 year after it was signed into law. A report by a Senate ad hoc committee investigating oil lifting, theft and the impacts on petroleum production and oil revenues showed that some federal government agencies in the petroleum sector do not understand their roles, and this has become a clog in the wheel of progress.
Who's stealing oil in Nigeria? Is it the poor man on the street? Who are the people carrying crude oil in Nigeria? The law is not obeyed.
During Tuesday's plenary session, Senator Adeyemi gives voice to the question many Nigerians have pondered on. Who are the perpetrators of oil theft in the country, and when will they face the law? Nigeria's crude oil production as at January 2020 stood at 2.13 million barrels per day. However, because of insistent pipeline sabotage and theft, the production fell to as low as 1.38 million barrels per day as of July 2022.
Mr. President, the ad hoc committee members had to...
The Senate set up an ad hoc committee to investigate oil theft, and the committee chairman presents the report to the upper chamber. He paints a sobering picture of the magnitude of lost revenue because of oil theft.
The country has lost over $2 billion to oil thefts between January and August this year alone, which lost revenue ordinarily would have supported the country's fiscal deficit and budget implementation.
The committee makes some key observations in the report, most notably that there is a plethora of government entities or representatives present at export terminals, with duplication of roles leading to conflicting figures being churned out. Major export facilities, the Bonny and Focados terminals, have been shut down for more than 7 months because of pipeline vandalism, and this has affected gas supply to Nigeria liquefied natural gas NLNG by 30 to 40%. The country's inability to meet its OPEC quota between January and July 2022 was due to pipeline vandalism and theft.
NNPC is not giving freedom to those two committees that was set up, the NUPRC and the one for the downstream. NNPC still sit as a boss for those two agencies, and that is not what the PIA is saying.
It is stated that in Saudi Arabia, you have this real-time monitoring of the entire system. This is not rocket science. Why can't we employ the same technology in this country?
After an extensive debate, it further recommends an immediate streamlining of the agencies present at the terminals, and the NUPRC should expedite the deployment and strict enforcement of the Advanced Crude Oil Cargo Declaration Solution to detect and mitigate illegal movement of vessels. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
Well, this week, the redesigned 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes were publicly presented by the President of the Council Chambers of the State House in Abuja. During the unveiling ceremony, President Muhammadu Buhari said this exercise is expected to curb illicit financial flows, corruption, and also improve the economy.
After weeks of debates and mixed reactions following the announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign the Naira notes, President Muhammadu Buhari finally unveils the new notes at the State House. Officials of the Apex Bank, the Nigerian Security Minting and Printing, where the new notes were produced, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and cabinet members witnessed the unveiling, which was originally slated for December 15. The president explains the motive behind his October approval of the new banknotes after a 19-year hiatus.
There was an urgent need to take control of currency in circulation and to address the hoarding of Naira banknotes outside the banking system. The shortage of clean and fit banknotes in circulation and the increase in counterfeiting of high-denomination Naira banknotes. It is on this basis that I gave my approval for the redesign of the 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira banknotes. While this may not be apparent to many Nigerians, only 4 out of the 54 African countries printed their currencies in their countries, and Nigeria is one.
After the brief ceremony, the CBN governor addresses the media, debunking claims that the unveiling was to target some Nigerians.
In the past, I have to confess that attempts by the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign and reissue currencies have been resisted. And I want to see this opportunity to appeal to members of the public that there is no need for any insinuations giving the impression that this is targeted at any individual. There is no attempt at that. We're doing our work, and we would continue to do our work.
The CBN governor who approached the president early in the year for approval to redesign the notes is unperturbed about issues of counterfeiting or sabotage.
Following the redesign and issuance of this note, we would go forward to insisting that cashless will be nationwide. We will restrict the volume of cash that people will withdraw over the counter. If you need to draw large volumes of cash, you will fill uncountable forms. We will take your data, whether it's your BVN, your NIN, so that security agencies like EFCC or enforcement agencies like EFCC and ICPC can follow you and be sure that you are taking that money for good purpose.
The newly unveiled banknotes apparently varies in colors. We have them in blue, green, and red, but not necessarily in texture. The CBN governor, who reiterates that the January 31 deadline to dispose of all old notes remains sacrosanct, is assuring that these new notes come with improved durability and security. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Still to come on News Round, University of Lagos unveils new alumni building. That's in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. $1 billion, that's the amount of looted funds from the nation's coffers that has been recovered since 2015. And the federal government says it's on top of its game to stop the recurrent cases of budget padding. This is coming from the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, who spoke after the Federal Executive Council meeting this week.
If you are looking at it from other perspectives, for example, perspectives relating to the recovery of the looted assets, the government of President Muhammadu Buhari has succeeded in recovering around $1 billion from its inception to date. So today, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation presented a council memo seeking approval of the council for the validation, adoption, and the extension of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy document from 2022 to 2026. I am happy to report that the memo was taken, deliberated upon, and eventually approved by the council, the implication of which is that we now have in place a new anti-corruption strategy policy document, which is a product of collaboration, consensus among the justice sector and law enforcement agencies.
Now, to electoral matters, ensure that next year's elections are peaceful and credible. That's the plea coming from the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ms. Catriona Laing, and the Commonwealth Pre-Election Mission in Nigeria. At a meeting with the National Working Committee of the PDP in Abuja, She says the United Kingdom will not hesitate to impose sanctions on any individual or group that's guilty of electoral violence.
The British High Commissioner to Nigeria is leading a delegation to this meeting with the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. It is one of the series of meetings with political parties by the British envoy, and the objective is to encourage politicians to ensure violence-free and credible elections in 2023.
And on that point about electoral violence, the UK made a statement at the last election, and we repeat that as well as lots of positive support for elections, we do have sanctions as well in the form of our visa programme. And we'll be watching closely any individual who acts violently or indeed just incites violence, for example, on social media. We do have the possibility of using our visas as a sanction, i.e. removing people's right to visit the UK.
Meanwhile, the leadership of the PDP says they're committed to peaceful elections.
It is not going to be business as usual. And that is why we are keep praying to INEC to maintain what they have promised Nigerians, that the election is going to be very free, fair, and credible. Once that is done, you'll find out that our party is in top gear.
At a separate event, the Commonwealth pre-election mission to Nigeria meets with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to assess preparations for the 2023 general elections. But the INEC chairman assures the international community that the commission will deliver credible polls come 2023.
We want to assure the international community that Nigeria will not let you down. Polling unit level results will be uploaded in real time and the integrity of the process will be upheld. The 2023 general election is going to be our best ever elections. We are committed, and that the votes cast by Nigerians will determine the outcome of the elections, nothing more, nothing less.
It's less than 100 days to the 2023 general elections, the outcome of which many believe will define the future of the country for the next 4 years. It's important that the conduct be peaceful to further entrench Nigeria's growing democracy.
The University of Lagos Alumni Association now has a new building. The 3-story edifice houses the UNILAG Alumni Secretariat and the Zenith Bank branch on the university campus. The commissioning of the building, named after a former vice-chancellor of the institution, Professor Oyewusi Ibidapobe, attracted many dignitaries.
If the saying of former American President John Kennedy is anything to consider, then it's safe to conclude that the University of Lagos is a huge success, considering the contribution of our product to national, continental, and global development. And here, the global president of the University of Lagos Alumni Association lays other alumni and eminent personalities and guests from across the country to the commissioning of the alumni building built by Zenith Bank and named after former Vice-Chancellor Professor Oyewusi Ibidapobe. Dr. John Momo says the building is to celebrate the memory of former Vice-Chancellor whose contribution and love for education and impact is not in doubt.
We're here to commission this great edifice. We're here to honor and recognize the cherished memory of also of Professor Oyewusi Ibidapobe, a brother and friend who we so dearly love. As we commission this iconic building, we are delighted that we are creating a lasting legacy by naming this iconic building after him.
Founder and chairman of Zenith Bank, Mr. Jim Ovia, is present to witness the commissioning of the edifice built by the bank, which is one of Africa's largest. Group Managing Director of the bank says the building is a demonstration of its commitment to education.
This building is an expression of our sustainability initiative as far as that is concerned, because we are a signatory to the principles of responsible banking, In Nigeria, I think we are 1 or 2, 3 corporate institutions that have subscribed to the UN principles of sustainable banking, and we've used this building to demonstrate the fact that we will live out these principles.
Professor Folashade Ogunshola is the first female vice-chancellor of the University of First Choice, the University of Lagos.
FAS.
She considers this effort as a fruit of a sound alumni relations.
The University of Lagos not only plans to increase our engagement, we intend to improve our alumni relations by starting with our students. We are putting in place things that would make them enjoy more their time on this campus, so that our alumni have an emotional connection with the university.
Widow Professor Ibidakobe could not hide her joy at this gesture, which she sees as a show of love and lasting friendship.
Dated back, when my beloved husband became the VC of this university 19 years ago, I recall the glorious celebration by the UNILAG alumni as the first alumnus of the University of Lagos to become the Vice-Chancellor of the university. And here you are, still recognizing his achievements.
Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, also an alumnus, is the special guest of honor and commends the brains behind this effort.
This is also one institution. Anywhere you go to and you see that institution being successful, check very well. You see an alumni of University of Lagos in that institution. So it's one institution that have done so much in terms of education. We've helped this country a whole lot with manpower. And I'm one of those that believe the problem of Nigeria is not unemployment. It's about capacity development. So I really appreciate the University of Lagos for building capacity.
There's a charge, however, for sound maintenance culture.
I encourage all to take good care of and maintain this building, its furniture and its equipment, so that this facility serves the community for years to come. In the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
A 3-story building sits on a total land space of 950 square meters, with a total of 1,665 square meters of office space, out of which the Alumni Association takes 585 square meters as co-landlord. Timothy Crown, Aderibigbe, Channels Television News.
News round comes to a close in Ukraine as a military official says a newborn baby was killed in Russian strikes on a maternity ward in Ukraine's southern Zaporizhia region. Head of Zaporizhia Regional Military Administration, Alexander Starok, says Russian forces had launched huge rockets at a small maternity ward at the Balinatsk hospital in the city of Balinyansk. Starok adds that rescue teams responded to the site of the attack. That's it on News Round, a recap of stories that made headlines this week. I'm Jacka Rogers. Bye for now.